What's good, YouTube fam? Just wanted to make this video in regards to a little review and installation of the coder intake that I bought. The coder intake that I did purchase was the Legmaker in regards to what I stated in the first video. One of the reasons I purchased this particular coder intake is because it is getting pretty hot on the market, and because of the fact that it is true carbon fiber that was handmade. The only issue I had running into actually purchasing it is that I could not find any videos online in regards to installations on NA Jeep SRTs. Only thing I could find were Hellcats, Scat Packs, and Trackhawks. So I'm doing this video kind of to put this perspective out there from a Jeep SRT owner, and just to go through everything that I like about it, I dislike about it, and the installation purpose. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. All right, guys, so we're ready to install the coder intake onto the truck. As I stated, it was already currently on the truck, so I'm just going to reinstall it and just show you how it clamps on and how it sits up. I'm then going to give you a rundown once I'm done of what else has to be done as far as making sure everything is put onto the truck and back to normal once the coder intake is on. We're gonna get started. Basically what you're gonna do is just sit it, make sure it's very tucked onto the throttle body. And you're gonna have to angle it, but don't have it touch the side of the interior of the truck. Then you're going to clamp in your harness for the air sensor, just like that. And it's on. Take some basic tools. Tighten it. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the overview of this coder intake for my Jeep. First, let's start with craftsmanship. I would give them a 8 out of 10 on craftsmanship, basically because they did do handmade carbon fiber, which is so hard to find. The carbon fiber does have a few molding point issues in it, as you can possibly see right there. But all in all, it was basically created perfectly. I mean, it has basically no blemishes on it. I think they did a phenomenal job, and I really love the craftsmanship they put into this. As far as the filter goes, you have two choices of colors for the filter, but they only sell oiled filters. So you would have to basically buy a filter that is not oil if that's the route you want to go. It also comes with a very basic coupler that you might get with most coder intakes that you purchase from companies like K&N and JLT and things like that. So that's pretty standard. Nothing really big with that. It comes with three metal brackets that actually hook it to the throttle body and also hook it up to the filter. As you can see, there's one and there's two back here. Now, one of the things I will say about this coder intake is that it does not come with a heat shield. I know when I was watching the video, that was a big issue for Trackhawk owners, but I still think the craftsmanship of it and the fact that it is handmade carbon fiber, that would really push me to purchase this. And for the fact that the price is only $249.99 for the Jeep SRT. So, I mean, phenomenal price compared to buying another carbon fiber coder intake I've seen for like $4.99. Big difference in price. A few things you need to think about when actually doing the install is that the full the full stock airbox needs to come fully out. You want to take everything out. You're not going to keep anything from that airbox. Everything needs to be removed, and you can just set it to the side. It's a pretty easy thing to remove. You don't even really need tools to do it, except for just removing the actual pins that keep the air intake to the throttle body. Another thing you need to consider is you will have to remove the actual air sensor that's listed right here. You will have to remove this from the other stock air box because you will have to install it here. Now, when you're taking it out the stock air box, you will need to be very careful because you can break it. You can break that sensor if you're not very careful. And if it breaks, then you're out of luck. I mean, it's not like the coder intake you just got is going to have another one waiting on you. He literally says when he sends it to you, be very, very careful. So do not break that. You will need to twist it counterclockwise very smoothly and just pull it out. And when you're pulling it out, you also need to have as you can see, that rubber ring. You will need to have that rubber ring come out with it as well because you will need to install that on this coder intake. Everything from the sensor will need to be installed on this coder intake. Other things that you have to make sure to do is the rubber tubing that goes from the stock airbox to the actual manifold is you're going to need to keep that rubber tubing. The same rubber tubing is right here, which I have on my JLT catch can. That same tubing you're going to need to keep. And the reason you need to keep that tubing, I'm going to show you now, is because of this Spectra filter. This filter, as you can see, has 2 inches of that tubing on it. So you're going to need to cut about 2 inches of that tubing off. And with the clamp that comes with the Spectra filter, you're basically just going to clamp that onto the rubber to hold it in place. And then you're going to just push this in. You're just going to push that in so it can stay on there. It's not really a hard process. Just push it in and it won't come out. Like it has no break in it. It's on there. Okay, so then after you do that, the next steps are going to be making sure that when you're installing this, you have the clamps on pretty tight. Now, you can have the clamps on pretty tight when it comes to the throttle body, but do not tighten them too much when it comes to the clamp for the carbon fiber tubing because you can crack that tubing. And if that tubing is cracked, then basically you're out of luck. You have to wait for him to send you another, and you possibly going to have to pay for it. And trust me, the wait is excruciating because I had to wait 4 weeks for mine. Mind you, we are going through a pandemic and this is handmade, but 4 weeks is a long time. So just please do not crack this. This can crack, and he states that it can crack if you tighten it too much. Also, do not tighten it as much when it comes to where the filter is as well. Just make sure it's tight and snug. The filter will move a tiny bit, but just make sure it's tight and snug on there. So as far as next steps, there aren't really many more things you have to do here. You also have to make sure that the filter is not touching the sidewall or the bottom part under here. You have to make sure you have a little bit of clearance. I have a tiny bit, but it's not touching, so it's installed perfectly. That's one of the cons I do have about this coder intake, is that it does not have a supporting structure. It's literally hooked up to the throttle body, and that thing is holding all the weight of the coder intake. But mind you, it's real carbon fiber. As I keep saying, it's very lightweight. Very lightweight. So you don't really have to worry about it straining anything when it comes to the engine. Breathability wise, I would say it's pretty good for a NA engine. I mean, we're not talking about supercharged or turbocharged. We're just talking about a regular coder intake hooked up to the 6.4. You're going to get better responses, obviously, than the stock airbox. Horsepower, torque-wise, you might pick up about 5. It's just not much of anything, and I mean, you can do whatever you want to do with that. Reason for my purchase is to just help the truck breathe a little bit better. It does not have the heat shield. As I stated, that is one of my cons, But like I said, it is real carbon fiber. It is breathing quite well from when I've driven it, because I've had this on here probably about a good 3 weeks now. About a good 3 weeks I've had it on there. And I haven't had any issues with it. Air pressure's all been pretty good and everything like that. You do get a little bit more of the revving sound, you know, from the truck, obviously, because it's open-ended, it's not closed off like the stock airbox. So like I stated, for the most part, it's a good buy. For the most part, it's a good buy. I mean, you're not gonna go wrong with it. Obviously, it's not giving you everything that the K&N will give you or the JLT will give you, but I mean, it's a great product for what you're getting. Carbon fiber, as we all know, is expensive, and for what you're getting, it's a great product for a great price. I will be putting the link in my description for Legmaker, and the actual link is going to take you directly to this cold air intake for the Jeep SRT. Now, I do thank you for joining this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. You know, keep watching your boy. I got new videos coming out. Just stay tuned, all right?